Fear Itself number 5 of the 7 issues run, which was published in 2011, witnessed a great fight between Thor on one hand and Hulk, aka Null Breaker of Worlds, and Thing, aka Anger Breaker of Souls, on the other, after they became the Serpent's agents of destruction. Sin, the daughter of the Red Skull, released Kull Borson, aka the Serpent, who transformed her into his herald. He summoned his worthy, causing 7 hammers to fall from heaven and strike all over the world. Each hammer transformed the wielder into an engine of destruction. Learning of the Serpent's escape, Odin and the Asgardians withdrew from Earth to begin their preparations to burn the planet in order to destroy the Serpent. Thor eventually confronted the Serpent, who revealed that he was Odin's brother and the true exiled king of Asgard. He claimed that Odin stole what was rightfully his and rewrote the world in his own image. The Serpent said that they will die if they fight and offered Thor to work together to make Odin pay to what he did to them both. Thor refused the offer and prepared to attack, but the Serpent blasted him away, where he landed in Manhattan to find himself face to face with Null and Angerer. Thor attacked the Heralds and struck Angerer with Mjolnir. Null knocked Thor down with his hammer, but Thor managed to summon Mjolnir. Angerer then intervened and knocked Thor away. The Heralds then followed Thor, where Angerer attacked again. Thor did not really want to fight Thing, who was under the control of the Serpent's magic, but had no choice. He struck Angerer with Mjolnir from behind and took him out of the fight, and told Null that he liked Thing, but Hulk was always a giant pain in the ass. He knocked Null away, then struck him with a massive bolt of lightning. Meanwhile, Franklin Richards and his sister rushed to check on Thing, who was severely injured, but managed to break free from the Serpent's control after he was struck by Thor. He said that he deserved what happened after all the destruction he had caused. Franklin told Thing that he lied when he told his parents that he would never use his powers again. Before healing Thing, who regained his senses, back to the battlefield, Thor's lightning wasn't enough to put Null down. He stood with his fist and hammer dripping with Thor's blood, who was kneeling down catching his breath, telling Null that he can't beat him, and never could. Null attacked, saying that he knew that. Thor then summoned what was left of power in his body and did the impossible. Glowing with light, Thor blasted Null into orbit before collapsing and addressing the Hulk, saying that it is not over and will be continued. Later on, Null landed on Earth again, but this time he landed in Romania. The Avengers then lifted the fainted Thor, with Cap yelling that the man is down. With a weak voice, Thor told the Avengers to take him to Asgard. They were confronted by Odin, who told them that the Asgardian army is prepared to burn Earth and the Serpent into ash. The enraged Cap, however, told Odin that he needs more men to burn Earth, but Odin teleported the Avengers away. He then kneeled down to check on his severely beaten son, then carried him away. Later on in Asgard, Odin healed Thor and said that some of these wounds will never heal. He then told Thor that this keeps happening to him, getting beaten down and dragged back to Asgard. Odin said that Thor doesn't have to fight and die to clean up what is rightfully his. Thor said that he can't accept to burn Earth to save Asgard. He learned from his father that there are things worth dying for. Odin then explained that the Serpent is his brother, and he is as old as Odin, but his ways seem to be even older. Odin could not kill the Serpent, but managed to bind him, and now it is Thor's fate to accomplish the mission of killing the Serpent. He provided Thor with his armor, which he wore the first time he cast the Serpent down. The armor will protect Thor, but there will still be pain. Thor then asked if the Serpent is the rightful king of Asgard, and Odin said that he lied about many things to Thor and Asgard, and he also tried to protect his people from the Serpent by wiping him from memory. The serpent can die, and that is all that matters. He can be killed with the Odin sword, whose true name is Ragnarok, a blade forged to end all things. Armored with Odin's armor and blade, Thor fought the serpent, who transformed into a giant dragon in the finale, which took place in book number 7, which also witnessed Captain America lifting Mjolnir. The serpent blasted Thor, who retaliated and hurled his hammer. The serpent, however, managed to capture Thor, who refused to yield and attacked, stabbing the serpent with the Odin sword. The serpent said that this doesn't need to end this way, and told Thor that he fights for a world that will never honor him, and a father that never told the truth in his life. Thor, however, did not stop, and slain the serpent, who reverted back to his human form. Thor then died in Odin's arms from the injuries that he sustained during the battle, but returned later on from the limbo of the forgotten gods with the help of Loki and the Silver Surfer. Back to the fight between Thor and Null. There are some points that I want to outline before giving my verdict. First of all, some Thor's fans claim that Thor fought Null and Angerer, trying to give the impression that Thor struggled against the heralds both, to justify him collapsing in the end, and this is not accurate. Angerer delivered one single blow and then was swiftly taken out of the fight by Thor, who did not want to hurt Thing but had no choice, to concentrate on the more powerful herald, namely Null, whom Thor called a giant pain in the ass. Thor wasn't even damaged from Angerer's blow, and the proof is that he attacked Null after that with all his power, struck him with a bolt of lightning and yelled "Die," which means that Thor wasn't weakened at all from Angerer's blow and was out for killing. Secondly, it is obvious that Null overpowered Thor and forced him to kneel down, trying to catch his breath, with Null's fist and hammer dripping with Thor's blood, indicating that Thor was severely beaten and struggling to withstand Null's attacks, which eventually ended up with Thor collapsing and getting carried away by the Avengers and Odin. Thirdly, Null was not knocked out when Thor blasted him into orbit, and the proof is that he was still holding his hammer and speaking, having the speech balloon or bubble, but we could not read what he was saying because he was in space, and sound does not travel in space. Sound is just vibrating air, and space has no air to vibrate, and therefore no sound. But when Null entered the Earth atmosphere, he turned into a fireball, and his speech became readable. Moreover, Null landed in Romania, destroyed Dracula and his hordes, and even ripped Dracula's adamantium net and overpowered the gravity generators, which were supposed to make Null 100 times heavier than he would be on Jupiter. This shows that Null wasn't weakened or affected from his fight with Thor, while Thor, on the other hand, collapsed and needed to be taken to Asgard to heal, which proves that Null is more powerful and more durable than Thor. Bottom line, although Null overpowered Thor in battlefield, Thor went the extra mile and blasted Null into orbit, but failed to finish him, as he eventually landed in Romania and continued his rampage. Had Null landed in Manhattan and not Romania, while Thor was still barely conscious, he would have killed him, but Odin would never let that happen and would intervene to finish Null himself. Although it is not directly stated in the book, Hulk power was augmented after he became the Herald of the Serpent. This does not mean that Hulk needs additional power to defeat Thor or survive landing on Earth from space, cause regular Hulk has done that on many occasions. It was a draw between Hulk and Thor in this fight. Although Null proved more powerful and durable, Thor did not yield and managed to knock him into orbit. It's true that this did not finish Null or ended his threat, but still spurred New York City further destruction and allowed the heroes to catch their breath and get prepared for the final battle against the Serpent. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching and have a nice one.